Let's start reviewing by what we learned in section 1.1 on measuring segments and angles. We're learning to communicate accurately using mathematical symbols and notation. We're focusing on congruence here and segments, rays, and angles. This is segment addition. I'm just going to add these two segments together. So to visualize what happens, I'm going to extend and make ray MN through point N, and then I'm going to add NU along the ray. So first I'm going to put it on the ray, scoot N on top of N, and now I have a new segment MU. What is MU? How many units is it? Well, this is 5, this part. This other part is 6. So that's going to be 11 units. So now I want to find the length of a segment on a number line, KL. KL are these 2 points here. So I want to find the distance between those two. 16 is L and 12. Subtract the 2 and you get 4. If for some reason you subtract and you get negative, just take the absolute value because distance or length is always positive. Okay, now we have 3 segments here. Do you see them? We have FG, GH, and then we have the long one. Oops. FH. So we're given that they're all collinear and GH is 16. We want to know what is FH. That's this whole long thing. Well, we know that this is 16. GH is given. So these two things are equal to each other. So I can set 2x plus 2 equal to 16 and solve for x. And I get x is 7. Now I add the two smaller segments together, FG and GH, and together it makes the long one, FG. So FG, oops, why does it keep doing that? No. There we go. FG plus GH equals FH. We know FG is 3x minus 1, but we know x is 7. So we substitute the 7 for x. We know GH is 16. So then when we simplify it, we get FH is 36. And that is what we were asked to find. So now we're going to go to angle addition. We're going to add these two angles together like we did with the segments. So we're going to get one bigger angle. So we line them up. And now we can see we have the big angle WAC. What is the measure of angle WAC? Whoops. Nope. Okay, so that is, oops, I forgot to mark it. That is going to be 60 plus 20, so that is 80 degrees. Okay, here's another one. We're going to add these two angles together to get XD, this is D also, F. So we put them together. And we can add them on top of each other like that. And so now we can see XDF is 55 degrees. So now we're going to add these two, we're going to still add the two small angles together to be the big angle. But this time we know the measure of the big angle. So this is a little different. So ABK is 30. This angle is 30. ABC is 65. This is the whole big angle is 65 degrees. So 2 angles are going to add to be 65. So then KC has to be 35. All right, this one we're going to do together. Okay, we still have the 2 small angles together. The small angles are UTE plus UTE plus ETS. Together, that makes the big angle UTS. Okay, so we know here that ETS right here, that is 15x. And oops. UTE is 100. And we know that together, that whole big angle is 66x minus 2. So we're going to use these 3 expressions and create this equation. So we know UTE is 100. We know ETS is 15x. And together they equal UTS, which is 66x minus 2. So I want my x's on the same side. So I'm going to subtract 15x from both sides. So then the only thing left over here is 100. And 66x minus 15x is 51x. Now I'm going to add 2 to both sides. So I only have the x term on the right. And so I get 102 equals 51x. I'm going to divide both sides by 51. I get x equals 2. And double check. What were we asked to find? We were asked to solve for x. Find x. Well, we did find x, so we're done. Congruent segments and angles. Oops. So this is the congruent symbol. If two segments are marked with the same number of tick marks, these each have 1, that means they're congruent to each other, which means they have the same measurement. So if AB is 7, then CD is 7. Same here for these two. PQ is congruent to RS. So these segments are congruent. Is CD congruent to PQ? They both have tick marks, but they're not because this has 2 and this has 1. They have to have the same number of tick marks to show that they're congruent. And we have an analogous situation for angles. Angles with 1 tick mark are equal to each other. So angle TUV is congruent to angle XYZ. And the same for those two. So it's asking, is WY congruent to VW? When I draw them in, WY is here, VW is here. There's no markings on them, so they're not congruent. Is CDE congruent to CED? Well, when we look at the markings, they are marked congruent, so they are. Those two angles are congruent. Okay, now you have some practice to do. This on segment addition is optional. Watch it only if you need more explanation. There's two ways to look at naming angles. The Edpuzzle also includes angle addition, so if you want to review angle addition, do the Edpuzzle. If you just need to name angles, do the school yourself. All of these are in the packet. The packet 1-1 version 2.0. Make sure you finish pages 13 to 18. That's your homework. You already did this assessment, but I've posted it on Classroom again in case you want to try it again. And we're finished.